I'm your bitch, but you like me. I'm your bitch.
Lord, shut the fuck up.
You wanna go on with this fucking bullshit? Go right ahead. You wanna go on with this fucking bullshit?
What's the problem?
You're the one that fucking made a sex doll of you. Just fucked it last night. You're the one that fucking made a sex doll of you.
Lord, shut the fuck up. You'll keep taking it, and you'll like it. You'll keep taking it, and you'll fucking like it.
You're so cute when you get mad.
Talk. I apologize.
Don't be so demanding all the time.
Say I apologize for being a little bitch.
I'm sorry for being a fucking bitch.
Good as you.
I'm your bitch, but you like me. I'm your bitch. Don't give a fuck.
Come on, boys. You learn your high bitch. Okay, you're high bitch. You learn your high bitch. Okay, you're high bitch.
So if I the fucking sex doll and named it after you, if I the fucking sex doll and named it after you,
You learn your high bitch. Okay, you're high bitch. You learn your high bitch. Okay, you're high bitch.
you'll fucking sit on full lip. I don't give a fuck. You'll fucking sit on full lip. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But at least I smile. I smile when you say I'm your bitch. 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 Bitch.
You little bitch.
Real.
Bitch, bitch, bitch.
You wanna go on with this fucking bullshit? Go right ahead. You wanna go on with this fucking bullshit?
What's the problem?
You're the one that fucking made a sex doll of you. Just fucked it last night. You're the one that fucking made a sex doll of you.
Lord, shut the fuck up. You'll keep taking it, and you'll like it. You'll keep taking it, and you'll fucking like it.
You're so cute when you get mad.
Talk. I apologize.
Don't be so demanding all the time.
Say I apologize for being a little bitch.
I'm sorry for being a fucking bitch.
Good as you.
I'm your bitch, but you like me. I'm your bitch. Don't give a fuck.
Come on, boys. You learn your high bitch. Okay, you're high bitch. You learn your high bitch. Okay, you're high bitch.
So if I the fucking sex doll and named it after you, if I the fucking sex doll and named it after
You
you,
learn your high bitch. Okay, you're high bitch. You learn your high bitch. Okay, you're high bitch.
you'll fucking sit on full lip. I don't give a fuck. You'll fucking sit on full lip. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But at least I smile. I smile when you say I'm your bitch. 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 Bitch.
You little bitch.
Real.
Bitch, bitch, bitch. Bitch.
Bitch. Bitch. Bitch. Bitch.
Yeah. Isn't that fucking cunning?
All right, hello everybody. Thanks for coming out to the second Cawd Trust. Thanks to Weird Version for the awesome opening song. I don't have it in the description yet, at least I don't think so, but I will obviously put his profile in the description if for some reason you're here and you haven't checked out Weird Versions yet. So yeah, so we're going to be doing our latest roundtable stream. So I have a couple of friends with me and one enemy, and it'll be up for everybody else to decide who the enemy is. But first we have Evil Little McNuggets. Hello.
Go get a condom.
Go get a condom. Fuck off upstairs. How you doing
He's
tonight?
the one who taught you that. I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. And next we have Good and You Lifestyle Guru.
What?
What do you want, Cheetah?
What do you want, Cheetah? How's it going?
Not too bad. How are you? How are you this fine evening, Guru? Any snow today?
No, thank God. We might get more. Bro, I think I mentioned this before, but 16 inches down your throat.
Down your throat.
It was horrible, but it's fine.
It was 68 today, like all day here. So
I hate you. I hate you so
I'd rather
much.
have the snow. Next we have Cyber Squeak.
Hello, credit card people.
Wait a minute. Did you really? Is that like you sounded like a robot? Was that on purpose?
Yeah.
No, that was my throat being weird.
Oh.
And it just kind of
I
worked
thought
out
you
in
had
my
a
favor.
filter on. I was like, whoa.
You know what? I should have just gone with it. I should have just said yeah.
Yeah, it made
Yeah,
you
well.
sound cool. How you doing today? How was work?
It was all right. Somebody quit on the spot, which was kind of difficult, but you know what? That's not really my problem to deal with. So
Not really. You just have to show up and work. So
yeah, pretty much.
next we have Ilrirg. Hello.
Hey sister, you are beautiful inside and out. Your hair is on fleek. Let's play Donkey Kong.
Boo.
Eel, I meant to ask you this. Have you ever seen the movie Space Jam?
Oh God, let's see if I still have that. Okay,
Yes!
I don't ask me that again in a few minutes.
Okay. So then finally, it is Cornville Three-Way. Hello.
I am the enemy that you speak of.
Well, you weren't supposed to guess because you knew already.
I did know. I think everyone already knew. Hello everyone.
Hey,
Well, that's what an enemy would do, would be to reveal that they're the enemy.
That's true. Classic enemy material.
I'm waiting for
Exactly.
this to be an enemies to lovers arc.
Should we start
Keep
a Frenemies
waiting.
podcast?
Unless you're talking about Slash's wife, keep waiting.
Ooh.
Son of a fucking bitch. So I won't say hi to people, individually to chat. Just hello to everybody. Thanks for coming today. It'd just be hard to keep up with chat.
Yeah, rude.
Since there's a ton of us
One,
here.
two,
Wow.
three.
Okay, you know
Well,
what?
that's-
Here,
That's
One
really
each.
that
20
is
troll
really
names.
rude.
Evil Little
There's
McNuggets, can you
20
please say hi to
trollmates
everybody?
tonight.
Please, Evil Little McNuggets, go ahead.
Hi, everybody.
You flipped it on me.
I did a flippity flop.
You
That's
did
a legal
flippity
term.
flop. So yeah, we have a bunch of topics tonight. My first one for Evil Little McNuggets. This is a little bit of a layup question, but do you think Lorna's abusive, Evil Little McNuggets?
Oh, boy.
You should.
You know, that's a really great question. I'd like to play devil's advocate for a minute here and say that I don't really think that he is.
That's why you're our devil's advocate. You're a little evil little McNugget, so it makes sense. That
Yeah,
Oh,
you saw the
Lord.
horns on my logo.
You're messy
think-
for that one.
You think you know evil? I'll show you evil.
Guess what?
I got a wrench.
Ooh, moderator.
Yeah. So, but obviously the answer to that question is yes. I don't know if anybody could listen to these calls and think he isn't, but no.
All right, guys, that was great. Thanks
I
everyone.
had a good time.
All right, thanks for coming out tonight, guys. This first one, I think this is a good one to start out because it's a nice, fun one. So this is a question from Guru, and maybe they can expand on it. But Guru wanted to talk about Lorne sounds. So do you wanna go over like what you find interesting and what you want to talk about with that?
Yeah, I was just curious, y'all. I mean, you can include many syllables, but my hope was like beyond many syllables. Do you have any sort of non-verbal quirks of Lawrence that's your favorite? Like if you hear it, you're like, oh my God, I gotta replay that.
A lot of the time it is many syllables, but usually like when he says like weren't over like no you wasn't, or no you weren't and stuff like that. Those seem to be the, besides many syllables, the ones that I overplay a lot. Or if he gets so loud that he like his voice will break and he like sounds like a little kid at that point. But I see a lot of the times, I mean, it's more like sayings, like, we'll always say like, oh, fuck you, you're fucking faking and all that stuff.
You're playing a fucking game.
Those are my favorites, yeah.
I really like when he says words that are like adjacent to what he means.
Right.
Like whenever the one call in particular that I always catch is whenever he's I can't remember who he's talking to, but he's like, the way you treated me last night was so fucking gorgeous. Or like when he gets asked how he's doing and he says, "Oh, rugged." Like it's I get what he
rugged.
means, but it's like adjacent to like the correct collection of words to use.
I like when he learns a new word or phrase and uses it, like, beats it into the ground, like, humorous lately.
Like you can
He-
tell that he has a word a day calendar and just like today's word is stupendous.
I think it's like what his probation probably said to him. They probably were like, "Oh, Lauren, you're humorous." Someone gave him the compliment that he was humorous, and now it's like an indelible part of his personality.
Well, it is something to do.
Yeah, well, you're the best time.
I mean, it goes back all the way to Kayla, at least, where, you know, he uses anxious as a, you know, word for excitement and things like that. So he really, it'd be interesting to see, like, because obviously he wasn't paying attention much in school. Obviously finished 87th out of 87th, but that is, if you think you can do anything anyway, but
Oh, I love that.
Never had a dream that you could, if you could. Oh yeah, he's cute. I love that video.
yeah, it's yeah, I always found that funny where, like, what you think, yeah, because, like, the gorgeous thing, there's another one he just said recently on a call where it's not right, it's not technically wrong, like you said, we understand what he's saying, but it's just not right, but how smart he thinks he is for using, like, these big words a lot of the time.
Yes.
It's like, Jamie, you're being quite ostentatious tonight.
I'm fucking flabbergasted, Jamie.
See, I think one of my favorite Lord noises is it's separate from the mini syllables, but when you just hear him go, just like his little, like, especially when he gets excited, like you can hear it in his voice. He's just like, I'm shy.
I do that unironically to my dogs a lot now.
That's a very
I do
dog thing
biscuit
to
talk
say.
my cat.
Yeah, everybody biscuits talk.
Oh
It's just
my
annoying
God.
when does it.
Y'all do biscuit talk to your pets?
Yes.
No. But I
Oh
say
my
it to
God.
pets.
That's
My dog
fine.
comes over to me and, like, I can tell he has to go potty. I'm like, you gotta go potty?
Took some time to get this potty through.
No. That's brilliant.
They love it.
Jiffy, do you have any?
What about you? Yeah.
Do you have any favorite ones?
What? I actually don't know what the question is. I wasn't listening when you said it.
Oh my.
Wow. That's a
So
racism.
if you could repeat the question, I
Well,
will answer.
Black History Month is over, so.
So, Guru, if you could tell him again,
Shit.
please. Which
What's your favorite Lorne noise?
I've
Or do
got
you
a
have one?
I've got a few. Like, I think my favorite lawn noise is when he's really squeaky, like when he's really excited. Which is like kind of counterintuitive because I hate when he's happy, but it's just like
Yeah.
he gets that whole like, and it's all sing-songy, like when he gets like.
It's just great hearing him sound so stupid. Like he's excited. He's excited over something that's like not real. So you're just like, haha, Lauren, you're dumb.
Dumbass.
He gets that
You
way
know what
when
I
Debbie
really
yells
love?
at him. Like when she's screaming at him, he's like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Like he enjoys that so much.
I love when he gets sing-songy when he's mad.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
no.
Exactly.
Your
Exactly.
fucking bullshit.
See, just back on
That's
what
brilliant.
you said about, he gets like that when, like, say, Debbie's mad at him, because he would view that as care and passion and that kind of stuff. So someone's yelling at him, that would be, well, I must mean a lot to you because you're willing to get upset about something. Like, not he doesn't see the reality of it is people are mad because he's a disgusting, horrible person,
Right.
and just being around him is be life sucking. But he views that, oh, you must really like me. You get that mad with me.
I love it.
Yeah, so I forgot to say it up top. So if anybody has any questions, you could put it in the Discord in the Cawd Trust topics, or you could put it in the chat, and hopefully I'll be able to grab it just in case it's interesting, and we can do it afterwards. So. Or after the ones that I have now. So the next question, this is from Kozanton from the Discord. So Kozanton is wondering, we've gotten more of a broken Lorne recently in these Casey calls. Like, we've gotten sober, angry Lorne with Jamie, but now we've got more of a broken Lorne. Will we ever get that fiery, rageful, drunk Lorne back?
No.
No.
I think it's kind of fading as he gets older, to be honest.
And
I don't think so. Oh yeah, I do think he's dead inside. It was kind of like on the calls I was listening to on the stream I did yesterday. Like, that's what really became apparent to me as I was listening. Like, he is just so depleted now. Like, it's that call, which is one of the best Casey calls I reckon, where he's talking about, what amount of money would you hire a hitman to kill me for? and really,
for that shit. Like, who really sits around and is like, how much money would you pay to hire a hitman?
Well, that's what I can't understand. Like, I mean, and not to be repeating myself, but it's the same as what he said to Kayla about, please don't cut my dick off and all this kind of stuff. Who thinks of this? But like, that's what if you compare it to like Ramona, where that was where probably he was his most, maybe not most rage, but like really like heaps of crying and that kind of stuff. And what he was, crying for there was like, tell me you love me, and then it kind of was like, do you care about me? So he kind of realized, okay, she's not going to love me, but can I get a I care about you out of her? And it's just gone down and down to now where it's like, will you tell me that you won't have me murdered? Like, please show how much you care for me by saying you won't do a jail term for me.
Were you thinking about me while you were sleeping next to your boyfriend?
Yeah, well, that's right, but that's how ridiculous it is, because even within that call, he starts out, which I think he thinks is going to be at least an easy win, like, hey, okay, look, you don't like me, but will you not have me murdered? And she was like, well, how much money are we talking here? And then it kind of went to, she was like, yeah, for $5,000, I would absolutely have you murdered. And then he's like, but you would for sure go to jail. So I was like, okay, you're not going to say you won't murder me, but if I put you in a scenario where every murderer is always caught, you're going to go to jail, would you still kill me? And even then she's still kind of like, well, and that's how beaten down he is. So to answer the question, I don't think so, unless like future Catfish, they would have to really do a lot of like pumping him up to give him hope. Like if a Catfish kind of came in and went back to, I guess, what like was happening first up, where they didn't know what he would take, so that they amongst all of the giving him shit, there were calls where they'll kind of like, I do care for you, Lorne, or like, the Ember character will get in there and be like, Lorne, you're a great catch, and even, try to hit on him a bit to pump him up. I think if someone did that, then yes, he'd get back to that, because he'd get a bit of hope again, but unless that happens, this is Lorne now.
That's it.
I would imagine.
I think that. Oh,
go ahead, Guru.
Oh, okay. Speaking to the part about like him drinking, he is way too frightened of going back to prison or jail to drink again. However, as far as the rage, I'm going to be honest, that one call where, oh my gosh, Jamie.
Jeffrey Cawd.
No, it's the Rod one where he's like, you can't fucking talk to me, and he's yelling through his teeth.
You can't fucking talk to me!
Exactly. That, I found, that actually frightened me the first time I heard it. I was like, oh shit, like that's scary. And I find like drunk Lorne talking to Ramona, yes, it's like very violent and like abusive and never, it like that is still frightening, but that particular sober through his teeth yell was the most intense for me and the most frightening.
Yeah,
hands down. But I think that's his. Oh, sorry.
Just to circle back to the very excellent first question, is Lorne abusive? If Jamie was there when Lorne did, you can't talk to me without texting that motherfucker, he'd be beating the shit out of her.
Absolutely.
The way he says it, it's you can see him like physically like saying that word. The way he's saying it, he's almost like throwing air punches at that point.
Considering he like kicks his door and like throws knives into his sink,
got steel-toed boots on. Don't worry about him.
Boosh.
I like how he thinks that Emma is worried about him, that he has to reassure, like, no, but I got steel-toed boots on. It's like, you have animals in your house. Stop it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that is another theme with Lorne, and I think that's what I enjoy, like, talking about Lorne so much, because there's so many themes in his life. But that's what he always does. Whenever someone's like, "Hey, don't do that," like he always thinks it's because of him. Like, don't drive drunk. When people are saying that so you don't kill someone, he's like, well, he thinks that they're saying don't drive drunk because you might kill yourself, when no one gives a fuck.
Or you might
about
lose.
that.
You have so much to lose, Lauren. Don't drive drunk. You have so much to lose.
Or
and
like-
it's like Go, Nugs.
I was just gonna say it's similar to like how he thinks that probation is looking out for him, and
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
he
Oh my
knows
God.
he knows federal agents because he has a probation officer.
Dude, I was just listening to that call where he breaks up with Jamie and immediately calls his probation officer, and he's like, now Sean's rethinking whether or not you and I are good. No, he's not. He's having dinner with his family. He is not thinking about you in his free time, except when you called.
Exactly, but that's what he would think, that, Sean got off that call and he, sat down in his study and, really started to kind of go through things and that, where the reality is he would have hung up that phone and, his wife would have been, oh, was that Lorne again? Like, yeah, I don't know about it. Like, like that, but it's like, in all the themes of Lorne, nearly all of them, like, I'm convinced they've run through his whole life, because they all go back to the first time, we kind of have any record of him, which is the chat log. Because, like, remember even then where they're on the phone and they're basically like, he's about to go and they're talking about what are you going to do with Bud, and Kayla's like, oh,
Lord.
is he going to be okay? And Lord's like, oh, I'm quite sure I'll be okay. Like,
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, wait, doesn't he think that she's talking about his dick?
I think
Yeah,
I think at one
Oh
point, yes.
God.
No, I thought it was them talking about Bud, because they'll having the conversation around, well, what's Bud gonna do? Because
Right.
he can't come there because he'll put hair everywhere.
There is a time though
Okay.
when he mishears what she says and thinks that she's like talking about his dick, or like misreads it. But there is that call like right near the end where he goes, "Yeah, I'm quite sure he'll be fine," or whatever. But
Quite
yeah,
sure
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
she's like, will he be fine? And he's like, I'm quite sure I'll be fine. Like, no, Lorne, no
That's-
one
yes,
cares about
right.
No
you.
one
They
gives
care
a
about the
fuck.
fucking dog you're about to leave for your weekend of fucking sex with a child. Like,
Yikes.
it definitely, like what Guru said, unless he is somehow released from probation and he is allowed to drink again, I don't think we'll ever get Lorne Classic back. We're on
He's
Lorne
way
Broken
too
right
scared.
now. Where
Yeah.
and I do, and not to I do think that most likely he won't drink again because he is so scared of going back to prison. But I do also think as time goes on, there's a fair chance he would, like, because it's like Lorne isn't the kind of person that, like, he'll be scared for a while, but the further away he gets, he'll convince himself that, they don't really care anymore. They know I'm a good person. They won't
Right.
mind if I have a drink and that kind of thing. Like,
I could see. Oh, sorry. Finish. Sorry.
no,
Sorry.
that was pretty much what I was just saying. Is like the further removed from that thing, the less risky he would think it would be.
Mhm. I could see it happening, especially after his mother dies.
Yep.
he would have an excuse.
Yes.
He would. He would exactly. He would have the perfect excuse.
My fucking
And also
mom
be-
died.
Right, and also like, I'm not saying it's okay for him to drink, but I can totally understand the thought process behind, like, I'm so upset right now. My previous crutch or like maladaptive coping skill was to get drunk. I could see that happening.
Yeah, and because I think it is like to have that event. I think that's a good point. Like to have an event like that, because Lorne would tell himself, even if they find out, they're going to understand. They're going to be like, Lorne.
Oh no.
Lorne, we get it. It's nothing
have
tougher
another
than losing
beer.
a parent. Yeah, exactly. Like that's how, because he
bring
comes
him
up
a
with all these. Yeah, like, because he comes up with delusional things, like ideas in his head all the time, and I do think he would think that. He'd think that Sean or whoever it is unlucky enough to be looking after Lorne's case when it comes to that, would come over, like, they'd find out he's been drinking, and, like Sean would bring over a 6-pack and go, mate, let's just talk it out, hey, let's have a few
Bring
drinks
over,
and just,
Could you
John-
imagine?
Sean would bring over a 6-pack and a busty blonde for Lauren. Be like, Lauren,
It's time to lose
fuck
that
out
V
here.
card, Lauren.
Oh my god.
You two go onto the floor in the back room. I'm gonna sit here and watch TV.
what do you got on? Little
Trash
House on the
bag?
Prairie? All right.
Oh no.
Lauren, your chair is awfully crusty. What are you doing?
Jesus.
Why is your chair covered in like a glaze, like a donut?
Shut up. Oh no. I can see that so clearly. I hate you.
I know, right?
So that's great. So so the next question that really springboards off of basically what we were just talking to. So Craigo asks, what is everybody's opinion on Mama Gwen? Is she a victim of circumstance? Is she complicit in this or whatever? What are your feelings toward Mama
bitch.
Gwen?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I could go on about Mama
Well,
Gwen.
go ahead.
I think
You got the floor.
That's kind of the idea, Snuggy.
Well, I mean, there's 6 of us here. I don't want to take over.
Do it.
I think ultimately, like, Lauren is his own person. He's an adult, so I don't fault Mama Gwen for any of that. I do, however, think that the way that she raised him was less than optimal. However, I think she is a victim of circumstance because we have this woman who grew up in rural Maine. She was, she had so many kids. You can't keep up with all of them at once. You know that Lauren's siblings probably had a hand in taking care of him. And
You don't have to have
being-
kids, Nuggets. That's a choice, and she was an adult when she had those kids.
we
It's a
don't.
choice.
Eel, don't fuck with me here.
I'm not. I'm saying I don't think she's a good person.
but
She was
we-
irresponsible as an adult.
I
Do
think
you know that she had access to abortion care?
I don't
Yeah,
know, but you
exactly.
don't have to have sex. That's a choice, and she chose. to.
Eel. Please.
That's a
don't fuck
trolling.
with me here.
yeah.
She, like, she didn't have like you made me lose my train of thought.
I mean, she had a deadbeat like spouse basically, or
Yeah.
not spouse,
I
but
mean-
Lauren's dad and almost all their dads. He was a deadbeat, So.
Well, that
can
like
al-
you have to think about like how Lauren was raised. You have a woman who has all of these kids, so she's not going to be able to give them all the time that they require. So Lauren's siblings are going to end up raising him a lot of the time, and their kids they don't know how to properly do
Right.
anything, so they just
Yep.
pacify
And-
Lauren.
and he-
and
he
Mama
tells
Gwen
those
probably
stories-
pacified him too.
Just real quick, he tells that story about his sister picking through his hair for black fly blight. So clearly,
Ugh.
he longs for that because that's probably like some of the most intimacy he had as a kid was just his sister picking through his hair, and it was
Right.
his sister, not his mother. So.
You think that's why he has a thing for hair
I-
now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Maybe.
Wait,
I'm legitimately
I've
asking.
thought about that before. Actually, I've had that same exact thought of like maybe the care that he had there was. I don't know. I don't know how you would sexualize it, but he
I
has a
mean,
perverted mind.
If it was during like the puberty stage in your life, like that is really when like kinks and fetishes start to develop in your
Mm.
mind. So I mean, who knows? Like maybe he saw his sister brushing her hair, and it just sparked something in his brain.
I
Yeah.
really think if we go off of the idea that his only form of intimacy growing up was his sister doing favors like that or like brushing his hair or something like that, I think that could translate later on because that's all he
You're
knows.
really grooming.
I kind of want to go off of what you said before about like victim of circumstance.
Mhm.
And I have conflicted opinions about her as well.
A
And
weird
one of
dichotomy.
Oh yes, I have in my mind. I created this weird dichotomy, dickotomy. I think about this a lot with like also my grandmother because she had a lot of children, and it's like this. I'm assuming that her children, or she started having children, before or around the sexual revolution. Also, she's in a rural area. And so you have and so you have kind of these older ideas about parenting, motherhood, all this kind of shit, right? So it's expected of you to just have children and to just raise children like that was an expectation. It's still like that for some people. And I think that there was no other how do I say this? I'll explain it this way. I asked my grandmother one time about like how she had a bunch of kids, and then she's like, "Why don't you want to have kids?" And I went into this whole thing about why I'm not sure, and she goes, "It's not that big of a deal. Why are you don't have to think so much about it." And I feel like that is kind of a good, what's the term? It's a good example of, yes, representation. That's a very good representation of that time period in which these people grew up and the expectation of children. Mm-hmm. Now, when we talk about like the growing up, or as he's being raised, there's a ton of kids. She very well likely did not have a lot of time for him, even though he is the baby of the family. And as he grew up, she's just been enabling his bad behavior since then. I don't know if there's some sort of psychological reason for that, but I don't feel bad for her in that way because she's enabling him completely. If my child did what he did, I would have disowned them entirely. Like, I love you, sure, whatever, but we're done here. Not give him a home, not give him money. And so I have conflicted opinions on that just because I think that the way that she handled his crime has then enabled this horrible behavior that he continues to do.
Yes.
Even if you don't disown them, she keeps giving him money, and she's giving him like $10,000. It's like, I get not disowning someone, but like she knew he was an alcoholic. She knew he kept going over to Tony's. She knows he can't pass his rape class. Like, do something. Giving him.
I mean, I think that's an interesting discussion itself. Zoning or whatever, because I think that's such an individual thing. I mean, on that point, I can't fault like Mama Gwen. Like that is, I mean, like for instance, you know, most people, you know, fortunately don't have to cross that bridge, and you know, hopefully everyone like myself and everyone will never have to cross that bridge. But like for instance, myself, I don't think I could disown any of my children if they did that. Like I would absolutely hate it. It would certainly change the way I look at them. But like I couldn't. I mean, that's to me. It's such a personal thing. So I wouldn't be able to look at Mama Gwen and say, you know, because of that, you know, I think that's wrong. But I certainly think throughout his life, she has enabled a whole heap of behaviors because it's just easier. It is easier just to go, yep, whatever, than to to try to discipline him, and whether or not that's just herself, if she was overwhelmed, no idea. But I certainly don't think she is the amazing parent that Lorne believes she is. And you know, I don't necessarily saying any of her stuff. You know, I mean, the whole pedophilia thing. She could have been the best mother in the world. She could have been the worst. He was going to do that regardless. But in terms of whether he because that's a you know that. But whether or not, if she was a better parent, that yes, he would have had that attraction, but he would have sought help for it before trying to do anything, that kind of thing. 100%. I think that's
also just real quick. I've never heard her say anything about Betty at all. So just saying that.
And all those calls
she's giving her kid money.
It's just about his bills and her car. It's never, hey, you ruined somebody's life.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you abandoned the state, and then I had to deal with it. Like, imagine the look she got at the Circle K. You know, guys.
Yeah, and I don't think she would really care too much, like, because I don't think she has that much of a reputation to lose. But I mean that is a good point. Like she has never, and I mean obviously we don't hear all of their calls, but she's never brought it up about Betty. And at the end of the day, if you look at, so from what my understanding is, like that crew that Lorne had that ripped off Betty was, you know, Tony and a fair few of his siblings and that kind of stuff. And while he was responsible for that, they were all more than happy to, like, so you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's many people in that family where you can go, Yep, they're a stand-up person, and they wouldn't. And that all comes from somewhere, doesn't it? I mean, if you have like 7 or 8 kids or whatever, if one of them's bad, well, that's probably nature versus nurture. But when they're all pretty fucking shitty, it's probably nurture.
I wonder if she's really just in denial about it, because I remember the one call where Debbie was like, "You drove drunk, so you have to call your mom." And I remember at one point she's like, "Oh, well, I told Roy that you usually don't lie to me, so I believed you." And Lauren's like, "Yup, I lied." And it's like, if you've talked to Lauren for 5 minutes, he's nothing but a liar. All he does is lie. So it's like, is she just delusional, or does she just not care?
She just doesn't care.
Well,
I don't think
that's
she
right. I
cares.
don't think she cares, and it's the path of least resistance. Like at the end of the day, when you take that call, for example, if she was to come back with, "Lorne, you lie all the time," like that's just going to prolong that phone call. He's going to start getting pissed off. I think she's just like, I've got to, he's my son. I've got to have these interactions. I'll half listen to what he says, and then eventually I'll be like, "Yep, well, you don't listen anyway," and hang up, and she can get back to bingo or fucking hanging out with Aunt Sharon and, go on with her life.
She agrees.
It's like the
with him at
reverse
one
of calling
point.
your grandparents.
What was that, Dio?
It's like the reverse, like, when you're like 6 years old and your parents call your grandparents on Thanksgiving, like, "Talk to grandma." Oh, shit. "Hey, grandma." Like, you have to do it. That's her talking to her son. Like, I have to do it, but whatever.
I thought you was one of those robocallers.
In one of those calls, she agrees with him where he's like, "Yeah, I never used to lie or be that way," and she like agrees with him, so she also has like a false understanding of Lauren at some point. Like, is he, I never used to, you never used to do this or lie, or no, she says, "You don't normally lie." That's what she says.
Maybe
to Lauren.
Wild.
Maybe it's like what Road Scholar
Wild.
said. Gwen knows he lies, but thinks he is honest with her.
He fucks up all the time, and she has to like all those calls are him calling her the week after lying to her. It's all like, "I drove drunk and I told you I weren't gonna go down there," Like,
I think she's just trying to placate him to get him to get off the phone quickly.
and
Like, have you ever been in an argument with somebody and you just start agreeing with them so they'll stop?
Every phone call I've ever had with Cornville Three-Way. I mean, the guy's just,
Yeah. Daily.
It's
And you go.
I was just gonna say, like, and also, I mean, say he should, because somebody was bringing up the fact, I don't know, because it would be hard to get the truth, like whether or not if Mama Gwen did give her car to Lauren to go pick Casey up, but if Lauren shows up to her house, what is she going to do to stop him? She can't stop him. Like, even though he's in his 50s, she's an 80-year-old woman. He can just take her car and leave. So
77-year-old fucking woman.
She's been 77 for 14 fucking years. Anyway, so there is an aspect where she can't physically do anything to stop him from doing something. So when he comes over, he could just take some of that money. But so that's the flip side of it. But also she does enable as well. So when he talks about the car, just like in that call where she's like, "I need my car back," and he's like, "Well, no, I'm gonna keep it here." What is she gonna do? She can't send her drunk son Roy over to get it. He's drunk, so she's also.
And the other thing, and that's a good point. The other thing got to consider there is that, like, we all know how much of a piece of shit Lorne is. We all know that he lies and misrepresents stuff. So. Like, and as we've said, you listen to him on the phone and stuff, there's no way he's not a scary person in person. Like, can't rule out the fact maybe he's a pretty fucking abusive to her too. Like, maybe he is just like, so maybe that is kind of it, like, you know what I mean? Sure, Lorne, if you want it, have it. Like, if it's not something that's worth getting into a fight over, she's not getting into a fight over it. Like,
she's not gonna win.
Just because we hear him say, "Oh, I love my fucking mother," and all this kind of shit, that could be
I could
very
imagine him
different.
screaming at her.
Oh, he
Yeah, like, and I'm not saying
he did.
he's going to be putting hands on her or whatever, but I don't. Yeah, I think it's a lot. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Interesting. I had a thought about
You okay?
So okay, people do bad things, right? And they can come from all different walks of life. So she might have been a competent parent. She might not have been a competent parent. She might have been nurturing. She might not have been nurturing. I don't fault her in any way for what Lorne did.
No, of
No.
course not.
No.
And I just want to clarify that. I don't know if I was being clear before or not, but I don't necessarily fault her for what Lorne did, because even the greatest of parents can have real trash kids.
Lorne's actions are his own responsibility.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to kind of, like, before where I said, about, I wouldn't disown my kids and that, that is such, like, anyone that would, like, that's like, I'm not judging or anything. And it's really easy for me to say that when, my kids aren't child molesters, so I don't have to actually make, like, it's really easy to go, oh yeah, no, I wouldn't, but
Right.
And I don't have kids, so I also don't have that kind of
That
experience to
relationship
even.
right.
Yeah.
You're not putting it on a person because that person doesn't exist, so it is hard to
Right.
You
Right.
would have been
And that's a
emotionally
fair
in
point
Warren's
too.
instance, she would have been emotionally attached to him for almost 40 years,
That's crazy.
And that's a fair point too, like, because obviously, when you have kids and that whole changes a lot of the way you view things. You have that whole connection and that. So probably, when I wasn't so old and I didn't have kids, I would have been like, yeah, fuck them. Like, you know what I mean? It's different scenario.
Yeah, so
Not fuck the kids.
that
Just
again, kind of.
Oh my god.
Somebody clip that.
I said not. I said not.
That's not what the recording's gonna show. Just so you know.
That's right. Yeah. Turning that into the Australian piece
You
tomorrow.
want to explain yourself?
Why would a guy go on a show?
You walk into your living room and it's just like, take a seat. Like Chris is already there. This was
I'm already
all
on
just.
Discord.
This was
I'll
all
hit
just to
Rez
get
up
you
now
to
and
admit that.
Ask
So
if we could work on my apology.
yeah, confess. So all of this, talking about Lauren's mother and all that stuff, and now getting onto his actions and stuff like that. So in the Discord, Mike M asks, "Is it okay to fuck with Lauren?"
Oh my god.
Hell
Can
yeah.
I
Yeah?
take this?
No, Eel, you can't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go on. He'll cry
Okay,
again
so-
if we don't let him.
That's right. I was bawling before the stream. Okay, so there's two schools
You
of
should've heard
thought
him
on
in
this, right?
rehearsal.
There's like, oh jeez, yeah, we did a 6-hour dry run yesterday, just talking about food and ethnicities and whatever.
Mexican
Okay, so
women are like catnip. to
Feels
me.
like you've got a
Yeah.
weird dichotomy going on there.
There is a weird dichotomy going on. That's a great segue to this. So there's two schools of thought. There's one that's like, okay, is the ultimate good out of this? Does it outweigh the bad? And the bad is like, hurting this person. And the good is he serves a purpose to society. He makes people laugh. He gives people who are actual victims some catharsis for their actual situation. And also we keep him away from actual people in his community. So we keep him distracted. And then there's the other school of thought. It's like deontology, I think it's called, where it's like an individual action can only be judged on the merits of the individual action. So in a vacuum, catfishing Lorne and trying to make him cry and angry is bad. You can't argue with that fact. But I feel like the overall good that it does is worth doing it, is worth the bad, quote unquote, the bad that it does to a bad person. So if you look at it in just a vacuum, it's bad. But if you look at the actual consequences of it, I feel clearly it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm fucked up, but like I don't feel bad that we're fucking with a person. Like,
no,
I
yeah.
mean,
No, no,
obviously,
We're not going to his house. He's answering his phone and not hanging up. It's
That-
also
You know what?
like
That's a big point. Both of what you just said there is the big point for me. Like, if this was a normal, if this was even a shittiest person, like, I wouldn't feel okay with the fact that, he's constantly called all that kind of stuff, and we sit here and laugh at him and that. But like Lorne is vile, and much like he lost a lot of his rights when he did that in terms of being on probation and that, he lost kind of any kind of sympathy for anything that happens to him in the future from from my perspective. Like, it's kind of like I've said multiple times. Like, if say Lorne actually, which this will never happen, so it's easy to throw out this hypothetical. Say if he actually learnt what he was and he was really trying to be better, I couldn't see the sense in still doing this. I mean, what's the point? You keep it, but that's never going to happen. But the main thing is, at the end of the day, he keeps picking up the phone. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't think it'd be okay for us to send someone in a Kayla costume to his house. But if he's not answering the phone.
Now, would it just be her outfit, or would it be like a mascot costume of like Kayla?
Oh wait, a mascot like with big head.
Mascot. Yeah, like
Giant
big
head,
head, like a footy mascot.
Right.
Big actually, like it'd be like a big thing sitting on the edge of a chair, that would be part of the.
So it's like a float now. It's not even a costume. It's just a float.
It's a waifu pillow.
Oh my god.
So once
the key thing is and all jokes aside, that's it. He keeps answering the phone, so it's all fair game. Like if this, say one day he actually was like, I'm not answering the phone anymore. He never answered it. He never called back. Then leave it. Then he has.
Right.
Nothing changes how much a shitty person it is, and I'm still going to fucking laugh at all of the calls we've already got and all this kind of stuff. But he has gone, and even though I don't think he should have many rights, and I think he's a piece of shit, he has gone, I'm out. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. So that's, if people were to then go beyond that and showing up there and that after that, I'd be like, no, that's pretty shitty. Don't do that. In fact, actually never show up there either.
At his house is shitty. You shouldn't do that. So if anyone's listening and they're showing up to his house, it's really shitty, and you shouldn't do that.
Who
you shouldn't
about?
try and get money.
True.
Exactly. Who would do something that?
Who would do something so ridiculous?
What? No way.
Or try and make money off of a Patreon or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No one would do that. No one would move in with a pedophile, lie in their bed, make him feel like he's a decent person, and probably give him stuff that he's going to fap over for the rest of his shitty existence. No one would do that. I mean, that would be two really shitty people that did that.
I'm starting to think that you guys are.
Right. Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm starting to think that you guys might be referencing something that's actually happened, but
what
I
could
don't
we
know.
possibly be referencing? What?
You
Who
know,
would do such a thing?
I don't know. It's just it's
asked
the
you
tone of your
who?
voice.
Who?
It's the tone of your voice, Eel. I think you guys might be referencing something, but not quite saying it outright.
Purely hypothetical. Purely hypothetical. If anyone thought about going down there, making content, trying to put a Patreon so that people can, pay money to get that, really shitty idea. I know no one's going to do it, but if you're thinking about it, don't do it.
I would like to go back to one of Eel's points earlier. I do think that there is a great divide within the ideas of catfishing, if you will. I think that you have the people who think, trolling Lorne keeps him from hurting other people, which I personally agree with. But I do think that the other school of thought has a little extra to it. I think that they feel like the best way to punish Lorne is to keep him bored and to not let him have that human interaction. I don't agree with it personally, because I feel like that gives him the opportunity to go in real life and harass 17-year-olds at Walmart.
Jesus.
I think there's just a little bit more, and it causes a bit of a split in the community, a big divide.
But I do agree with that, and I don't think that is leaving him alone as punishing him, because Lorne will create his own delusion and his own entertainment. So if he was left alone, that wouldn't be more of a punishment, because he would just keep writing his own narrative that he's a great person. That's just life has thrown a few city situations in his way, but he's deep down he's a good guy, and if he's still fucking jerking into Little House on the Prairie and that, he would be having a fine life without this. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be a punishment to be bored.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't care. I do find moral debates about it is very interesting, and the different points and perspectives people have, that's very interesting, and I find the conversation to be stimulating, but like personally, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep listening to people who do it. I think it's hilarious, and I think it is what he deserves. You know what I mean?
That's
He
kinda
deserves
how
to
I
live a
feel.
miserable, horrible life, and I'm happy to listen to it.
That's how I feel. I mean, I'm somebody who just kind of listens to lolcows in general, and like, I know a lot of times, like, we feel like the justice enacted on Lorne wasn't enough. So it's like, you know what? Maybe I am being a bit of a vigilante here, but you know what? I'm all fucking for it. Like, fuck them.
But well
Fuck 'em.
then.
Yeah.
So that rolls into, as far as like the ethics of trolling Lorne and things like that. So Edamame had a question in the Discord, basically about what responsibility, if any, the community or how we would feel like, say in that call, that Casey call, where, you know, he's told to come pick her up at 3 a.m. and he falls asleep and kills somebody. Like, is there any issue or responsibility from the catfish or the community that would happen?
Was Casey holding a gun to his head and telling him to go drive there?
Mm-hmm.
No one made him drive at 2 a.m. when he was super tired. He's an adult. He made a choice. It was a dumb choice. He could have killed somebody. He chose to do it. It's his responsibility.
Yep.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It's like, it's one of these things. It's like, I mean, okay, so saying that scenario, he did, like, no one. Yeah, so saying that scenario, he was, you know, going to pick up the Casey that wasn't there, and he crashed his car and he killed someone. You know, the person who was playing Casey and that whole group, I would not say they have any responsibility there or anything. So I wouldn't say they should feel bad about that or whatever. Because at the end of the day, like you say, he made that choice. At the end of the day, Lorne fucking drives drunk. Well, when he was drinking all the time, he drives tired. He drives tired all the time. He makes that choice. So that him doing that is odds on to happen, whether he was going to go pick up Casey or whether he was doing whatever. Odds on, if that's going to happen, it's going to happen. Personally, like I say, I would not think anyone should hold responsibility. I'd feel a bit shitty about it, because that's a shitty thing. So it's kind of like, not from a responsibility perspective, but you'd be like, oh, you know.
Can you imagine?
You would have those questions about, you know, did we all kind of have a little bit? But at the end of the day, he makes his own choices.
But can you imagine him, like, let's say he did hit somebody, like, can you imagine him going to the cops? Well, my girlfriend Casey, she told me to come pick her up at the fucking airport, and I was fucking tired, and I told her no, but I decided, I'm
There
gonna
was
go
yellow
fucking
light
get...
in my eyes.
Yeah, and another...
Get out.
Those were the headlights, Lauren. The car that you crashed into. Yeah, well.
No. Also, he would have been awake anyways if Casey was there.
Yep, that's right. Oh, yeah, and I mean, I probably really, I don't think anyone should feel, if that happened, anyone should feel bad about anything, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, because he takes no responsibility for anything, and he doesn't consider anything.
What?
It's a miracle he hasn't killed anyone, really.
It honestly is. After he dukes a hazard into somebody's house, as to how he did, like you've seen the diagram and the police description and like where it happened. He just went off the road and then up a hill, like a small, basically ramp, into somebody's house. And if you've ever seen, what's that? A Due Date with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis, where they're like flipping in the car off the bridge and it's like in slow motion. I just see Roy passed out drunk, and then Lorne passed out in the driver's seat as their bodies are like in 0G, like floating through the air, and then just like crashing into that house. And it's probably, you know, it's like old country house. Like, as to how he did not kill somebody is pretty crazy.
Could you imagine being a homeowner? In the middle of the night, you hear this, like, I mean, fortunately no one was hurt, but this fucking car crashes
Insane.
And come out and fucking Lorne is.
Wasn't it the house of like his former
would-
babysitter or something? So can you imagine? You can imagine waking up and being like, "Oh God damn it, it's Lauren Armstrong."
I bet that he was searching through their fridge when they came downstairs. They come down the stairs, there's a hole in their house, and he's like got his face buried in their fridge. And he's like, "You're out of Bud Light, guarantee it."
He's getting a door dog out of the fridge.
I ain't drunk. I'm tired. Only a few sips over the limit.
Just had some fruit juice.
That just as a aside, it bugs me when he says I was legally over the limit. No, you were illegally over the limit.
Oh
Like
my
you're not
God.
legally over. Like you're not
Only
legally
Like he
Legally
thinks
tried.
he thinks he can still be like, "Oh well, I weren't drunk. Just legally, it says I were drunk." Like what? No,
Oh
that
my
means you were
God.
drunk. Stupid.
Yeah.
Stop trying to play semantics. You're not smart enough for it.
He's trying to play the moral high ground on crashing into someone's house.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like basically what it's been said. Lorne doesn't need anybody's help here to ruin. I mean, he's ruined people's life before. Where he's crashed into houses like this. Like you said, it would be bound to happen anyway because Lorne does this shit. He's been doing it all of his adult life, basically. So
Right. It kind of reminds me of how he got to the sting. He was told that there would be a child there. He drove there. And if he crashed, I don't think, at least I would assume, that nobody would have been blamed for it other than him. You know what I mean? I don't see how that would be our problem or our fault.
It's
Like
just
that isn't a that he made a decision as an adult to do something. No one forced him to do it. I mean, you know, there were, I guess maybe some female powers were put upon him to go to the airport, but you know, it's his fault. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bad person, but at the end of the day, what Lauren does is what Lauren does. I'm not gonna feel bad for anything that comes from him being catfished, or maybe not comes from it, but like as a result of his choices. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I completely agree. Like that's it. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it anyway. He made the decision. All I probably was meaning when I said I'd feel a bit shitty is like I feel shitty about everything. I mean, I even feel shitty about making fun of Slash, which I really shouldn't. But I just
You
always
do?
feel shitty.
checks in the mail.
Like a
Jimmy.
little,
Can't
like not,
relate. Can't relate.
like not
Yeah, I
much.
don't.
Like don't get me wrong. Like it's a fleeting thought.
Hey, I'll take that meter
I just
ticking a
go about
little
my day.
bit. That's
It's
good
an
to me.
intrusive thought.
push it away. Push it away.
But to go to therapy for it.
Need my
This
therapist
is why I'm in
like,
therapy
just,
6 times.
Just
a
don't
week.
worry about
It's
it.
all you guys. It's all
Allie,
you.
have any
five.
sessions
6
open?
times. 6 times.
But my therapist actually gives me, some really good ones to use next time. So
There you
you're on
go.
board.
I have a very quick question.
Sure.
If unless somebody wants to speak on this.
I got a
current one.
question.
I'm gonna ride home.
Do any of you talk about if you want to share and if you're comfortable sharing? Does anybody here talk about this with their therapist? I have.
do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
My
yeah.
therapist, I sent my therapist the Chris Hansen video about
I
Jesse.
did too. I did too.
Shut the fuck up.
She thought it was hilarious.
That's amazing. I love that.
He asks me for Jesse updates every time we talk.
Same.
That's amazing.
Oh my god.
I don't actually go to therapy, so I don't have anybody to explain. I've
No.
tried to explain it to coworkers and stuff like that, but
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
It
You
doesn't
follow
deliver.
around a pedophile?
Yeah.
Why? That's really weird.
you really have to ham up that Lorne is a very bad person in the beginning. Like,
Mhm.
there was this it's always you know what? I did talk to my doctor about it though, not my therapist. Like I was in because he asked me,
You touch your fucking knee.
because I have to go in
Fucking
every.
doctor.
I had to go. Yeah, the fucking doctor. While he was touching my knee, he asked me, what, because it's like you go for
It's a
general
sexy knee.
for like anxiety disorders and stuff for checkups and things like that. So he was like, "What do you do in your free time that you enjoy and stuff?" And I said, "Well,
Oh dear.
I stream about this guy. Do you remember the show To Catch a Predator?" Yeah. Then I explained
Oh
it, and
my
then the only
God.
thing the only thing I don't like about it is this Australian bitch that makes fun of me all the time. But
That's always how I started off.
alone.
Was
Oh my
your
God!
doctor like? Did your doctor ask you, is the Australian guy here with you right now?
In the room.
Are you five just a figment of my imagination? Am I doing 5 voices separate from myself right now?
Yes.
Somebody rip this video and then edit out all of our voices and make it just Slash.
That would be
Flash is
amazing.
just sitting in his room. He's got like a box of Jiffy cornbread that it's got like an angry face drawn on
I have
it.
chicken
Right.
nuggets sitting right here. I have the Love Guru poster up on my wall.
Oh no!
You're on a computer, so that's cyber.
And then I
there's
have a
picture of
pet
an
eel
on your
behind me in a tank.
That's right.
Chris Pratt poster on the wall.
Right there.
So the next one, yeah, I agree. Like obviously, Lauren's an adult. Whatever he does, it's up to him. So this is something that I wanted to ask.
Just snorted.
I'm
just
just,
snorted.
No, I have no idea.
I'm just picturing Slash having like a little tea party now, like Cartman did himself.
Is there a teacup pig?
Like
near
in Toy
someone's
Story, are
microphone?
you Mrs. Nesbit? Like,
What do you think about this,
Can you
Jiffy?
clean it?
so this is one that I added. I just wanted everybody's opinion. So Lauren now with the Jamie troll, or like the Casey troll, excuse me, he knows, or at least has been told and recites it, that he knows that Emmer was Winnie the whole time. Like they're not a different
No, he
person.
does not.
If Emmer were to call him and either could she get him back? Like either explain
Yes.
that Winnie,
Yes.
Absolutely.
that they were
Yep.
fucked, like Jamie and them, they were actually fucking with you. Winnie is a separate person, or she would explain that she is a different personality. Like, so do you think that
Oh my
if Emma
God.
were to call and just explain it and then say, "Lauren, I really want you back. I think of you as a great friend," he would go right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
like,
don't-
You know
yeah.
what? I'll take it a step further. She could call him, and he would explain it to her.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yep.
Yep.
So you was being controlled by Xavier.
Let me
You're a
guess.
different person.
You got controlled by Xavier again.
There you go.
How did you know?
Exactly.
What else
But that-
happened?
like,
Lauren?
yeah. And that's right. Like he would absolutely, like, all she would have to do is she could just about do anything. You know, she could, explain the whole thing and, like that, say, well, it was Xavier that made me do it, and he'd be like, yeah, I knew it, or she could just she could just say, look, I did all this, I was pissed off because because you're a pedophile, and I
She
felt,
did that
I felt like-
originally.
I was gonna say, didn't that happen
Yeah.
originally, and then he still forgave her? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, you are right. They did. So yeah, I mean, he
Or-
would, and as you said, he would probably create the narrative for us. She'll just have to be like, "They nailed it."
Or this. Emma could call him up, and she could say, "I'm the real Casey Morrow."
Case
And
4.
the cycle
Casey
continues.
4.0.
Yeah.
remember when she tried to say that she was Sherry Twist?
Yes.
Yes.
That
Ooh.
Yes.
was funny.
Okay.
Where she explains that, and then Lauren's like, "Yeah, I fucking knew you were. I knew it." And then like 5
Oh
minutes
my
later, she goes,
God.
"Lauren, I was just playing." He goes, "Yeah, I know you wasn't." Like he will, he constantly cannot be wrong about anything, and will always say that he knows. And
Yes.
my favorite example that I always bring up is when Debbie asks him, "Do you know what Kim Kardashian is doing?" And he goes, "No."
Uh-oh.
And then Debbie explains that she went to the White House to get prisoners out, and he goes, "Yeah, I know." Like you just said, you didn't. Like,
Yeah, and she could do that again. She could bring it back up and say, Lauren, I am actually Sherry Twist, and he would just be like, "Yeah, I knew you were, and I knew you said you weren't because you were worried you was gonna lose me."
Can I be Southern Aphrodite?
Oh,
you are
I
minuscule
hate
and
that
from
voice.
the south.
oh, that's
Oh
awful.
God. Yeah, that was not it.
That really hit Guru hard. I tell you what.
That was not it. Oh, I'm so creeped out right now.
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
when I say it's awful,
It's
like
so
it was
weird.
spot on, like it was too good of a impersonation.
I like the poem you sent me.
The porn.
The porn?
I will never not think that she says porn
Yes.
there.
It sounds
Same.
good. Like
It
it.
clearly says porn. Like it's porn.
I like the porn you
I
sent
like the
me.
porn you sent me.
Which was your favorite?
Holy fuck.
Because if he
wow.
didn't respond with that only took me about 15 minutes, like it would have been like, what? Made porn in 15 minutes.
So
I love that he uses that as a way to brag, and like nobody who listens to that understood. Like, is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
so
Or
if
15 minutes of your life.
if you are are subscribed to Eel Rear, which you shouldn't be, but if you are,
Absolutely.
he just did a series
I
about
wouldn't.
what he would want the next catfish to be, and it was basically like the catfish finale, is what he explained. So, and I really liked a lot of his ideas. So I'm asking everybody else, the other four of you, what would you want the next catfish to be? Would it be the end? Like, what would you want Winnie back? Would you want Jamie? But like, is there something fresh you would want? What kind of catfish would you like?
Time travelers or aliens?
I
I think I think he
Time
would.
traveling aliens.
I think he actually would buy the time traveling one. I think that's what you could
That would
get him
be
with.
fun. That'd be
I
real fun.
I don't know what I would want, but I would want somebody to send him like I would want them to send him like a found footage horror movie and be like, "Look, I went to like the 9 circles of hell," and just convince them that they like actually experienced that. And he'd watch
I
and be
want-
like, "Wow, baby, that's wild."
I want the next one to be Paula. I want someone to.
Oh, Paula
the
is
return
so
of
good.
Paula.
God.
He's been in love with her
That'd
for
be
25
incredible.
years, if you didn't know.
Why did he think that made him sound good by saying that?
Because
I don't know.
it shows how much love he has, I guess, is his mind. But and then
That's a
he
good
goes on to
point.
explain who Paula is, and he just explains him stalking a woman for like 4 months. Like, yeah, I went to her apartment, I followed her home, and then I went into her apartment, and a guy answered the door. I was like, oh.
And because
Can Paula
like,
come out to
because-
play?
See, I want the next fish to be Paula for 2 reasons. Like, A, because I like it's like the one thing there's a lot we don't know about Lorne, but like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the holy grail. Like, you know, what is the actual thing there? I mean, because I firmly think it's
Oh my
barely
god.
an acquaintance. I think that Paula was like basically just someone that wasn't mean to him, and he took that as. But in any case, I want to know that. So if someone played Paula and he did it really well, you could kind of tease that out, because if he thinks he's talking to the real Paula and she's like, "Lorne, that didn't happen," he's either going to have to go, "Well, yes, it did. You're remembering incorrectly," or he's going to be like, "Oh yeah, I know, but that's how it felt to me."
Oh my
But
god.
I would love it if, like, you know, a Paula character called him up and was kind of like, because like we were saying before, that we don't think we'll get, you know, the rage and all that again because he's so damn beaten, and to get it again, in my opinion, you'd need to give him hope again. So ring up as, you know, "Oh, look, I know things didn't end well with us, but I've been listening to a few things like that's been on YouTube, and I can't believe you're still thinking about me now. That's the sweetest thing anyone's ever done. And to be completely honest,
Ooh.
I've never stopped thinking about you either." And, you know, see what happens.
I think
Oh,
Amanda
that's
James would be a fun
interesting.
one too.
Ooh.
Yeah, all of his old ones. I just before in the chat, there's been some great suggestions. So Paranormal Purebred said Amelia Earhart. So that would be very
Earhart.
funny if she went through a time portal over the Atlantic and then ended up in rural
Oh my
Maine.
God.
That'd be
And
terrifying.
she can't visit him because she's stuck on an island in the Pacific Ocean.
I also like
Lauren, there's a lot of crabs here.
Camp Vogel's suggestion.
You know what I would love?
What's
I
that?
would love if somebody like catfished him as just a random person from the karaoke bar that was so enamored with his voice, and they were like, "I want to see if I can find him if he ever made it big."
Yeah, I was at the Buck Wild
Did you ever
Saloon,
make it
and I
big?
saw you at the Horse Wild Saloon, and I
Mine. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say Camp Vogel. There's 2 good ideas. So Camp Vogel says John Wilkes Booth traveling through time to assassinate the final living
Oh,
relative of
Lord.
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh Lord. Lord.
But I think there could be a good troll in sending a letter to Lorne or calling Lorne from the Abraham Lincoln Society and trying to,
Oh
but trying
my
to be like, hey,
god.
you know, we've been running DNA tests and you're a
My
distant
God.
relative, and we have a distant relative of John Wilkes Booth, and she's a girl, and we would like you guys to meet up and sort of bury the hatchet kind of thing.
Oh,
And so
Oh
then he
my
would start
That's
to date.
funny.
He would start to date this long lost relative of John Wilkes Booth. Like, we'd have to set up a website. We'd have to set up a number. Hey.
I mean, it's not that hard to set up a website.
No, it's not. But
Lauren did it.
Lauren did.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love the guilt and that he'd put on her for that? Like every time they're in a fight, like Lorne, you're a pedophile. You killed my great relative. Like, you know.
You did it. You.
Six Semper Penois.
That's amazing.
You fucking son of a bitch. Sorry, Guru, were you next? I'm sorry.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know how. I'm just gonna say it. I would love to see him in a fake rape class or a fake group therapy session.
To see what he would say.
Any of it. Yeah, I just would love to have it's just a fake group therapy session calls where other people are, oh, I'm so and so and this is what I did, and make up all of these.
Everyone in the fake class did something that he's done.
Yes,
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes, exactly that. So they would do something that he's done, and then I would really enjoy maybe somebody replicating his excuses and then see what his opinion would be of that, because we hear him talking about what somebody says in the class. There was one, God, I can't remember. It was a Casey call I was just listening to where he's talking about some guy who had done something stupid and had violated probation, and Lauren was giving him advice or chastising him. And it was so funny because it's just bro, you did the same thing and this is exactly what your fucking counselor probably told you. And so you're just regurgitating it. And I would love to see that. I don't know how it would work, but that is a dream of mine.
The
Of fake
fake-
group therapy calls.
The fake
Right.
class should also have other TCAP predators played by other people.
Well, see, here's the thing. Lauren says at one point that after COVID, all of his rape class sessions were in Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it would be even simpler.
Just send him.
And
an
there were
email
some that
like,
were also
punch in
over
this
the
code. This is
phone,
your
I
code.
think, too.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Well, he had to call into the Zoom. So I guess it was set up to where a lot of the guys who had computer access could go on there, but he had to dial
Right.
and put in a code. And
Yes,
he was just
you have
there
to
over the
call in.
phone, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I
Ooh, I did
mean,
him naked
that
on
also
the
would
phone.
be. Oh, sorry. Yikes. Yikes. You could
he
also
was.
do a video calling if it is again via Zoom or something, so he can see people face to face. And then I don't know. I have ideas. I don't know how that would work, but
Plant one.
I would
beautiful
love
woman in
that.
there who's absolutely horrible and irredeemable in every way.
yeah.
Well, I think she's all right. I don't think she got a big problem. Her and I just need to get together and get out of this class and watch each other.
But to
Yeah,
build an
you-
octagon house?
Not
That's
an
right,
octagon.
Octagon.
You know, and that, really anything is going to work with Lorne. I mean, pretty much anything will work with Lorne, but anything will work well with him if you present it in a way that, you can see the good in him. You can look past all of the situations that he's been in, and you can see the good in him. You could also do a Truman Show reveal, tell him that his whole life has been a Truman Show style thing, where they've the reverse Truman Show, so all organised by Xavier, of course, but
Right.
everything that's happened to him has been organised to show him in a poor light. You're one of the producers that worked on the Lorne Armstrong show,
Yeah,
and
show.
you've been watching him for so long, and you can't keep your silence anymore because you realise he is a great guy that's been put in these shit situations, and that's why you're breaking your silence now. I mean,
Oh my
that would be
God.
poorly advised because you know, if you're making Lorne feel like his reality is like, you never know what he might do with that, but it would be pretty funny.
That would be great.
So the next question I have here, this is from the Discord again. So this is from Punk Pansy. So this is kind of like a fun question. What would Lauren's reaction be if a huge group of Lornographers showed up to the 10 Mile yard sale? Not like last year where people went kind of in disguise, but like if a bunch of people like with Lauren shirts on, like 20, 25 people went up into his yard. Would his reaction be to run and hide? Would he love it? Like, what would you think?
He'd
He'd be in the
probably
woods.
He'd probably try to call the cops.
I completely disagree.
I don't think he wants the cops
Jesus
anywhere
Christ.
near him. I don't know if
Yeah.
he would.
Right, but he hates the Church of Cawd. We're a bunch of cocksuckers.
And
Talk
we
to that
wouldn't
one
be-
guy.
I think he'd like it.
Well, if he
too.
were to just call us without asking us to leave, I mean, he's offering, come on this property to buy things. Like, if he tells people to leave and they don't, then it would be trespassing. But
I have a question.
Sure.
Are there going to be women in this group?
yeah, it's gonna be like
definitely.
95% woman.
Okay, well then he'd absolutely stay. If not, he'd be
Yeah.
in the woods.
Yeah. You have my shirt on you. You have my face on your shirt.
You must like
He
me a
would
lot.
really like me to come visit me.
You already know my name is Lorne, but what is yours?
I mean, he would love the attention.
Here, let me get my phone number.
We
I mean,
would.
He sat and
I've-
talked to Socks for
Oh,
like
sorry.
8 hours last time, and he
Yeah,
said
exactly.
who he was. He was from the Church of God, and he wanted to talk to
Right?
Lauren, and Lauren fucking loved it.
I love how Lorne later on was like, yeah, that guy was stupid and told me he was from the Church of Cawd. Lorne, you talked to him for like 8 hours. How is he the stupid one?
About your family, like your intimate family details too. Like not
Oh,
even
yeah.
like just about yourself.
Just
Jesus
gossiping.
Christ. Yeah, Roy's got some serious problems. He was in a ditch the other day.
Well, Lauren, you were in a house, so
Is it a house? I don't know. I would go. I would definitely want to go with like white people because I'm not about to take my black ass in the middle of Cornville, Maine. You know what I mean? but I think that he would love it. I think he'd be so excited or anxious to have all those people there. You know? Because at the end of the day, he's a narcissist. Good or
Right.
bad attention is gonna feed him, and I mean he might be overwhelmed or whatever, but I think on the whole he would be very excited.
All right, let's say a group of 5 women go up. It's not like a
Oh,
huge
God.
group, but like a group of 5 women show up and say, Lauren, we're a big fan of you. Now, at that point, if they said fan,
Oh
he
my
might be thinking of
God.
his singing videos or from his famous websites, things like that, and he might be okay with it. But
Oh no!
I don't know. He might know it's Church of Cawd fucking bullshit.
definitely, if 5 men showed up with Lauren shirts on, he would probably either go inside or... See, I don't think he would necessarily come off like angry. Like, he would just be like, get the fuck out of here. I don't... especially in person and probably to other men, he seems to, like, cower away a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he's a big
No,
talker.
he'd try and be
fellow.
your friend.
He, like, anytime
playful.
anybody actually goes there... Like, Dan went there, and he was squeaking happy as hell to see him and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Squeaking happy.
It was honestly that since the day he was arrested till that day, that was the happiest day of his life when Emma and Dave They were
Absolutely.
there for 25 fucking minutes, and that was the happiest day of his life.
I love that they brought like their own cups and shit to his house
Yeah.
because they did not
Yeah.
trust his cutlery and silverware and just glassware.
well, it's covered in coom and toe fungus. I doubt they'd want to touch that.
That's not fungus. That's crap that he put on his toes. Nuggets, get it right.
Gonna put some crap on my toes.
Ew, 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 ew.
Oh man.
Nasty.
Yeah, would you? Let me ask you this: like, if you were to go up to Maine, like, say you go up, like in a vat, you yourself go up, and Lauren asks you into his house, would you go in to see what it's like? Would you actually go inside?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, I've thought
Oh.
about it, and I'd just ask to use his bathroom so I could go snoop.
Well, no. In this example, he's giving you a tour of what is to be his beautiful house. So it's what it looks like right now, like completely fallen apart. But you get the grand tour. Like, would you go inside?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not getting in a closed space with him. That's his only chance. He could grab you and keep you in there. He's got big arms. You have to keep because he can't. Like the thing is, I would keep him at
gorilla
arm's
arms.
distance. I could not take him in a closed space, but like I could run away from him. He's smoking for 40 years, got no cardio. I'd keep him like 3 feet away from me at all times. Don't
See,
get in
I
a
would
closed
just tell
space
him I
with
left my girl stuff out in the car and I need to go get it really quick, and he'd be like, "Okay."
You what?
You want me to go get your present out in the truck?
Prison they give you.
Prison they give you?
Well, I mean, if you're a guy, he told Socks to just go that's another thing. He also, I guess, wasn't it in a case called that he got mad that the guy pissed on his yard, even though in the footage he goes, "Yeah, can I use your bathroom?" And Lauren goes, "Yeah, just go pee over behind that shed." Like Lauren tells him to do it.
That's my bathroom.
That's my bathroom. Like, and there's people walking in the yard, and he just has Socks go and piss like behind his house. Just, I guess it would be interesting to see. We did just get episode 87. Which I am excited for the sequel that will, per Blue Boy and Gilborn, will be on Sundays with Cawd this week. They're going to be watching it, the
brilliant.
sequel. But it was fascinating because that house really hasn't changed much. Like from the pictures we got from Winnie and the videos that we've got in the last few years. I mean, the outside has changed, but what I mean is like his bathroom hasn't really been completed. Like it still looks the same. His bedroom still looks the same. He still has a gaping hole in a door in his kitchen.
You taking a shit.
All you taking a shit. And there's that. I mean, and here's another thing you have to remember. There's that call where, and I don't know if it's released, but I specifically remember Tiffany talking about it, where he said that something smelled bad, and he knew the dog shit, but he couldn't find the shit because his house was
my
disgusting.
God.
It took him like 30 minutes to actually find where the shit was.
Nope.
And that's sad. That's sad that his dogs felt the need to just shit in the house. Like, what the fuck, Lauren?
Like sometimes dogs have accidents, but it's like I feel like he never like. He'll let them run around outside in his backyard, but he never takes them on walks. So it's like, that's when my dogs usually shit. You need to get them moving.
Right.
Right, you get them excited and go outside, yeah.
That's foul.
Yeah, I would probably have to go in just to see, but it would.
Now, would y'all try to take?
Shots and stuff.
I was gonna say, would y'all try to like
Right.
take a little piece of the trailer home with you?
I would dump glitter.
Haven't you
in
seen
the-
Venom?
Glitter. What was that?
Wait.
What?
What?
Yeah.
You right?
No, for real, what?
Yeah, what were you gonna ask?
Eel said something about Venom.
Oh.
Yeah, haven't you seen Venom? You don't want to take a piece of that home with you. It's going to consume
Oh
you.
my God.
Turn you into Lauren.
Oh no.
Man.
I'm not a
You
nerd,
become,
so
oh man.
We are Lord.
We are Lauren.
Thanks for ruining that for me.
I go home and
Ruined
I
Venom for me.
I go home. I just start suddenly craving Bud Light.
Oh, I got some fucking Bud Light.
Your right front tooth just enlarges and moves to the center. I can't. Oh man, Venom. Lauren is Venom.
It's like in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when Violet starts turning into whatever she just ate.
Violet.
talking about-
Violet.
Exactly.
Let me check. Does anybody have any questions for us in chat? Did I miss anything? Duchess of Cornfield does bring up a good point. Fleas, scabies, and ringworm in that dump. So you.
Yuck.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions for us?
I just put like a shower cap on before I go inside.
Oh, no, I would just bring a
On a
hazmat
suit.
Yeah, thank you. See,
Yeah.
this is why Neil and I are friends. We think the same way.
Okay, I mean, you guys have access to that kind of stuff.
Logan W just said
Finishing each
insatiable.
other's sentences. How cute.
Logan W just said insatiable craving for ham cubes.
It was a fucking ham cubes and Bud Light. I want a ham cube and ranch salad.
Ugh.
Yeah.
A wet salad.
Let's see. Well, we kind of answered
Oh,
that one.
jeez.
So Voice to Voice has a couple of questions for us. Well, first he asked, will Lauren's foot fungus be a ground zero for the real life version of The Last of Us?
Yes.
No, no, it'll be some sort of different apocalypse because the actual fungus is real. This fungus is something new to science and
Well,
biology entirely.
Well, the cordyceps fungus is just going to combine with his foot fungus, and that's how it becomes like viable in humans.
Oh, that's how they get the human
No.
DNA. The cordyceps get the human DNA and then now become compatible.
Yeah, yeah.
I see what you're going with.
But is Lauren
Nightmare.
human?
That's true.
He
He's
might be a new
the son of a
breed.
gorilla.
Part of Joseph Stalin's experiments to impregnate human ape hybrids.
Oh no!
I mean, I think really we all have always known that Lorne is going to be patient zero for something. Like
Mhm.
there is going to be some virus or something that originates from that trailer.
Yeah.
Maybe like a second
100%.
Lauren. Like a
Oh, no.
clone of Lauren.
Imagine
It's
if
yeah,
like
it's
with
me, but it's just smaller.
Cawd
all the
That's what
weird-
Logan W said. Cawd
God, yes, that's-
He's just got a homunculus.
No. Oh.
Yeah. Here,
Oh,
this
do you
is a good
imagine
one. So
two
Voice to
Lornes?
Voice asks, what is your favorite Winnie zinger / comeback? What do you think is one that you like a good Winnie zinger?
He's slicker.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Knee
gonna say. When he calls him a knee slicker.
What do you,
make
want?
no
knee
money.
slicker?
You drive a pedo van. That's my favorite.
Honey?
I'm
Yeah,
trying to think.
knee slicker. That's mine too.
Yeah, I mean, she berates him really good. Obviously, I really like. I mean, it's not really a. I guess it's kind of a comeback, but it's not like as. I guess more like a zinger. I don't know, but the it's kind of a comeback, but it's not like as. I guess more like a zinger. I don't know, but the my dick is the size of a beetle bug. Like that's one of my favorite Winnie moments.
Yes.
My dick is the size of a beetle.
Your dick.
Your dick?
Yours?
No, fuck
He's
you,
so
you're
drunk
fucking-
it takes him a few seconds.
Yeah,
Ah, fuck you. You're
you can
faking.
see the wheels turn. Like you can feel the wheels turning in
Mhm.
his head because he has to analyze that data in his 1-bit
Right.
like
Oh
RAM
my God.
computer of his brain.
While not Winnie, I do appreciate when Ramona calls him a kitty fucker.
Because it's
We're to
very
have
out of
sex with a
character for
child.
Ramona.
What?
To do that.
What does that have to do with the situation? Why didn't you bring that up? I love it when she brings it up out of nowhere, and he's like, you can't quite process it. I imagine Lauren's brain is like that episode of SpongeBob where they forgot his name, and it's just a bunch of mini Laurens running around, and they're all naked.
I lost something once. My identity.
We threw out his name.
That's what I like. Just kind of in that same vein, like my favorite thing at the moment, because I just re-listened to the call before this, is where where Casey's telling him that he's a project, and he's like,
Oh, God.
he can't. He's like, how am I a project? Like he's so befuddled by how he's a project, and she's just listing all the ways. And it's like,
And at the end,
Everything
he
in his life is a
didn't listen.
project. His house is a project. His car is a project. Like he's just surrounded. Like how he could not think he was a project is beyond. Like that's his life.
to be honest, like I mean, him being a project would be an upgrade. Like he isn't a project,
Mhm.
like because a project,
He's a condemned building, not a fucking
Yeah,
project.
ready
But
for
a project would be
explosion.
something that you can fix. Like you would call a fixer up a house you buy a project. Like you can't fix lawn. Like in reality, if you're making that comparison to a project, what lawn is like a condemned plot of land that has a sinkhole in it and is somehow like haunted by evil spirits. So instead of fixing up this project, they basically cordon it off. And no one ever goes there again. That's how Lorne's a project. Like, but that's what he should be thinking. You think I'm a project? Oh my god!
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Casey. That's amazing. Like,
I'm starting to think you guys don't really like Lauren all that much.
what?
No way.
No way.
Lost in Eureka said my favorite quote, which was, "Your mother sucks like the Kirby."
I like Edward Mandingo, who says, "Does Elton know you're on To Catch a Predator?" And Lauren like doesn't, because she's like, "Ask him," and he keeps changing her question to ask Alton. She's like, "No, does he?"
Oh,
know
how
you're
can
on
I
To Catch a
forget?
Predator?"
How can I forget? The color of your eyes is beautiful, but the shape of them is mongoloid.
That is a great call. That one with Elton. He's just like changing everything all the time. Like she's like saying, like how much of a ugly pedo he is. He's like, oh, she's saying, she wants to suck my cock. Like, no.
Well, she says like she wants to suck Dan's dick or wants to suck like a black man's dick, like somebody else's dick, and Lauren changes it to him. It was something along those lines where
tell Elton he's a rapist.
Jesus.
You called Elton a fucking rapist.
He couldn't be that because when we were 2 and we were naked and we took a bath together, so he couldn't be that. Since we've known each other for both of our lives. Like the way Lauren, I don't know, if you listen to the call, the way he says both of our lives, I've never heard Lauren sound like that before.
He constantly wants, he almost goes like bends over backwards to phrase things so he's like part of a group or part of a team. Like, we both did the thing. Like, no, it's just me. You did not do the thing.
Yeah, baby, we both need to calm down. He's the only one crying and yelling. Yeah. Like, yeah, we both need
exactly.
Oh man. All right, so I think that's a good place to stop off for today. So, again, if you want to leave any questions, you can do that in my Discord, which you can join if you click on my YouTube profile on the banner. You can click join Discord, and there's a channel there that has Cawd Trahst topics, which will also be used for the Cawd Bar. So, again, the Cawd Trahst will be us 6, and we'll probably try to do it every couple of weeks, like maybe once a month. The Cawd Bar will be with everybody else, like viewers and stuff, and it'll be like a smaller group, and so we'll try to do that maybe about once a month. So if you would like to be a part of that, you can also put your name in the Discord. There's a channel to join the Cawd Bar as well. So I will be sending out invites for that in the next couple of days to try to get a good group together. But besides that, does anybody streaming this week? I mean, Eel will be streaming on Friday for Friday Night Bud Lights, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jiffy, do you have any plans for the rest of the week?
I'm done.
So you won't get Jiffy till the after party on Sunday. So
good riddance.
Good riddance.
What?
Cyber Squeak, are you planning on streaming at all?
I'm off on Friday, so like maybe I'll do like a midday stream, but we'll see how I'm feeling.
Cyber Squeak Classic.
Yes.
Evil of McNuggets, any plans?
You know how I am with streams. They just kind of pop up when they do.
I will, I put them in all of my descriptions, but I didn't do it for this one yet. But everybody's link will be there, so if you're here listening, you just click on that. And Guru, any I know you streamed last night. Or you have any plans for the rest of the week?
I pretty much only stream when you bully me into it. So.
Damn right. Damn right.
Just kidding.
It's usually
it's
usually like, hey, I'm laying in bed. Can somebody who's in a different time zone stream so I could like just lay here and listen to it?
Yeah, Guru's actually streaming later tonight. We're gonna bully
Shut the fuck up! No, I'm not. I haven't seen Perm in days. Please.
Too bad.
Yeah, I don't.
Cause Perm.
Oh, so you're putting him above us?
He's a 10 and I'm only a 3.
He is 10. And you are absolutely a 3.
Beautiful and I'm only handsome.
That's another example of why Lorne should just take the compliment. Like, if someone called him handsome, just run with that. Like,
literally. That's a fantastic compliment. You should have been blushing, you know? I don't know.
Should have been questioning what angle she was
I might stream tomorrow, maybe. It all just depends on, how I'm feeling, and, I love streaming. I find it a lot of fun, especially at night. I prefer it, so.
Guru at night. Guru at neat.
Guru.
Nick at night.
At night.
Maybe tomorrow.
At night.
At night.
At night.
I'm cleaning the oven. At night.
Oh, I just burned my hand at night.
I just whacked my toe on the banister.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna bleed on the rug at night.
Oh, my mom's gonna kill me.
Whether or not your mom kills you really has no bearing or weight on what
It
happens.
really has no bearing or weight on the situation.
I cannot with y'all.
I'm gonna coom on some coupons at
That was
night.
great.
All right.
Maybe I can such a cunt.
Thank you, Squeak. I knew you'd like that.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll play some weird versions to play us out. So,
Yeah.
I hope everybody has a nice night.
Bye. Bye.
Mwah.
You all have a
Thanks,
gaping
everyone.
hole on Pornhub. Bye.
I want my gun right now, or I'm gonna hold my breath. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. I hear you, baby.
Get over here, see your Pluto.
I want my gun back right now. I want it back right now.
Calm down. Listen to the whistle.
I'm gonna be the star that you, Debbie. You're not gonna like what I'm gonna do, you know what?
The typical Debbie. Well, Debbie do.
I'm gonna be really angry. Give it to me and I'll stop holding my breath.
The typical Debbie. Well, Debbie do.
Do-do-do-do. Are you still there? Do-do-do-do.
Debbie! Listen to the whistle.
I love you. I love you. I love you. You love me. Hello, my heart will explode. I am not funny around.
The typical Debbie. Well, Debbie do.
I'm gonna die if I keep doing it. And I did something today.
The typical Debbie. Well, Debbie do. Debbie! No coke. Listen to the whistle.
I love you. I love you. I love you. You love me.
We need some. Alright, that's enough of that. Are you fucking kidding me?
Winnie and Lorne, what a splendid match. He's dumb and she's always high. But every time stupid Lorne blinks, she sleeps with another guy. She can't get enough of Dan, and Victor's always there. But even when Winnie poops her bed, it's not enough to kill Lorne's love. Do-do-do-do.
Oh, God.
Oh, poor Winnie, what happened to your phone?
I don't know.
Don't be sad, you're gonna find it if you do.
I love you. I love you. I love you. Do-do-do-do. You love me. If you can hear me say do-do-do-do. We need to stop this game, please. We need to stop this game, please.
Yeah. Alright,